Wait a minute or so, just turn it on.
Yeah, I like mine.
It's handy.
Yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
We'll begin with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. We'll call the January 24th Marion County Commission meeting to order. A couple announcements before we get into public forum. The planning and zoning case 21-03 for Harmony Towers has been postponed 1 week to January 31st due to our county counselor being ill and not being able to be here today. So postponed 1 week to January 31st. The interested parties have been notified. We found out Friday, so they were notified Friday. Also want to thank Commissioner Crowfoot for covering for me last week. It'd be impossible to do it over technology.
Unless everybody's on.
Yes, unless everybody would have been on technology, but thank you, Dave. And with that, we'll open for public forum. Are there any comments? There's no one in the room.
No comments online.
I don't see any comments online. We did get a letter to the county commissioners, and just briefly, it's a thank you for letting me deer hunt on the old Marion County landfill this year from Clayton Jantz. So I wanted to convey that to the commissioners. And with that, we're ready to move into agenda approval. Any additions or changes to the agenda?
We will not have the IT discussion today.
Okay.
We still have the information back that we were waiting on for pricing, so we may try that again next week.
All right, next week is going to be a long meeting.
Or maybe we'll try that on February 7th.
It's going to be a long day next week. That'll help us. Any other changes? If not, we're ready for administrative.
Okay. We do have some change orders. For current year and prior year. There you go.
Thank you.
I seen your water bottle, and I seen Ken's down there, I thought he done smashed it down to the desk. What did you hold down there for him?
You deserve a big one.
There's 2 pages.
Can't have to hit somebody or
Whoa, wait a minute. Somebody stole my colored pen so I can control the whiteboard.
I know.
Oh.
That was part of the deal for us.
I thought I'd let him distribute. I wasn't sure.
I didn't pack the box. That was funny. He opened
didn't
it up and he
return
goes,
it.
"Yay!" His eyes got real bright. How's your handwriting, Mr. Lucky?
I don't know.
It might be better than mine.
I don't know.
If you want me to deliver the markers to the end of the table, I'll be glad to facilitate that.
I think he has to earn them.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I like that gold star.
Collect the gold star.
You have a gold star, you trade?
I got something that I'm gonna trade, all right?
There you go. Yeah, you got something. Didn't make it.
They really signed twice. Had to figure that out.
On the second page, sign on line 2. I saw that. I was gonna let Randy find it though.
Sorry, I gotta take care of me before I get down
I
here.
was getting confused. I remember the last one.
Well, hopefully they didn't do all of them that way.
You make one more goof like that, we have to return the erasers.
There may be more than one.
There's a gold star.
I'm used to taking the only line that's left.
I know, right?
That's easy.
Yeah. Or the Hillsborough. Yeah, it did it to me too. You have to go to the drop down menu. For some reason, I tried to throw a wrong number in there. It says there's no meeting, and so I do the drop down and then select the old one.
Could have been a wrong link on the agenda. It's probably my fault, because I totally had to redo the agenda, because my staff that usually does that was out, so I just totally retyped a whole new one, so I probably got a
Takes one digit.
wrong digit in there.
One digit, all it takes.
Are you usually trying to link in from the agenda?
Yeah.
To get in? Okay, I'll check that out.
Thanks for work last week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because
I
of
got those on
We
there.
got one.
It was throwing me the error too.
Yeah, there was
Pulled
one
off the
there.
drop down menu.
6
Said
degrees.
weekly commission.
Won't stay out of the wind.
Yeah, because that number will stay the same all the time.
But she's in now, so we're good.
I have a salary, one salary sheet
Okay.
here.
And these are read with her.
Yes.
Okay, we have one salary sheet. Anastasia Leroy, part-time 911 dispatcher, 1536 per hour.
And then I have the minutes of January 18th.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
I'd make that motion.
Okay, motion by Randy, second by Jonah. Any discussion? Any corrections? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. 5-0.
That's fine. Okay. We do have several budget allocation requests. Generally, I like to get official approval from you before I start sending them any money. So Kansas Legal Services requested $4,000. We did put that in the budget under sales tax. Families and Communities Together did not come in and request any funding, but we've paid them $6,000 a year for as long as I can remember, and they don't necessarily always come in. Same with the food bank, we did not hear a request from them this year. Harvey Marion County CDDO, their request is $65,000. That is budgeted in the general fund. Prairie View requested $94,403. Last year, we funded them at $93,798, and we put $93,000 in the budget this year. And then the Fair Association did not make an official request. They didn't either last year either. We've kind of had this standing allocation of $16,700 for several years, and then if there are other projects that they want help with, they usually come and ask. And
Okay, Commissioner Dalkey?
Oh, go ahead. Are you done?
the last one is Marion County Conservation District. That one you actually already took official action on, so we do not need any action on that today, but the rest of these we will need some sort of authorizing action.
Okay.
What is the name of the group that was on Main Street did we allocate money to them this year?
I did not have them on the list this year because we allocated for them last year and they didn't. Are you talking about the Restoration Center?
Yeah.
Yes.
They never requested any funding and we never paid them any funding last year, so I took them off the list this year.
Okay, well, I had a readout on where they was at, and I don't know if they're around yet. That's why I
They're
was
still
asking.
listed as a resource
Wonder where they moved then somewhere. Probably.
somewhere on Main Street.
Just moved to another building,
Well,
probably.
they did, I don't know.
Well, that's where my out was.
But
so.
they are listed as a resource.
Well, that's why I was just wondering.
Yeah,
just
last year we
before you
allocated.
disperse- Yeah.
Last year we allocated money, but nobody ever
Okay.
followed up or asked for it, and we never paid them anything last year,
Okay.
and there was no request this year. So, have not have any information about it. We didn't put anything in necessarily the budget.
Okay.
They can still come and make a request, and, you know, that could still be funded. Last time we funded that out of sales tax, same as these others.
Yeah. Okay.
That there was no funding last year.
My other question is do we still leave Prairie View up there this year? 'Cause they come in because of the COVID original. I think that's what they said they needed more funding for.
Well, I think it was also to bring it in line with the other counties, if I remember right.
That's
The
Was that
percent
with other commissioners?
Yeah.
So
It was
I
per
don't-
capita.
It wasn't a one-time increase, it was, I'm asking the other commissioners, is that what you also heard?
It was per capita, is how they were
Right,
proposing it.
right.
I think it was approved for the 2021 budget, kind of as a one-time
Right.
bump up by the commission, but then they did come back and request that higher level again. I can't imagine their expenses have gone down with the mental health crisis that we're
Well, I'm just
facing at the
wondering
moment.
if
that-
their staffing levels are the same in Marion County or not, because if you read the articles in the paper the last couple of weeks about the county sheriff and city police becoming mental health workers, there was a, part of that story was, I think, that Prairie View didn't have anybody they could get there or something timely, and I'm just wondering if the staffing in Marion County is the same as it was, or.
I don't know about that, Kent, but what I do know is if you've watched Channel 12 here and the youngster that in Sedgwick County that went to the juvenile intake, and if you notice the time of the morning, it was around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I can guarantee you I've been out there at 1 o'clock in the morning wearing the police uniform, doing the same thing those guys did, and there is nobody out there. And what's more interesting about Sedgwick County is that they showed a unit in a red vehicle, and it had something on the side of the
They got a
vehicle.
couple
Something
of travels.
one,
Yeah.
something one.
Something one. Anyway, that unit only works during the day. They don't work at night. When, that was a really interesting part. That's why a little bit of my questioning here into Prairie View is, and I think if you talk to Sheriff Kraft, that at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're wanting somebody, whether it's juvenile, whether it's adult, mentally, that is a hard thing to accomplish to get things taken care of. So I'm just, even though it may be per capita, if Prairie View's not doing what we need to be done at that time in the morning, then I think we need to back off and look at this.
All right, let's look at each budget allocation request individually, since we're on Prairie View, let's do that one first. The request is 93,000. I'm hearing,
The request is
yeah,
That
I'm
was
sorry.
budgeted.
I'm sorry, the request was 24,403 and
94,403.
94,403, sorry,
It's okay.
don't worry. And budgeted amount was 93,000. I'm hearing some comments that maybe we would like Prairie View to come in and make a presentation before making that allocation.
Well, I think, my main concern is if I was gonna do something with mental health, I'd like to look at our officers too, that in the county when they need something, whether some of this is going towards that. Dave, for your information, 65 is where both of them said Harvey, Marion County CDDO, and we've had them even up until the last 2 years.
Right, I remember that from
Okay.
last spring.
And so that's why I'm asking this question, and I haven't talked to Rob lately about this, but I just think that maybe, I don't know what we can do. Maybe Rob has some ideas or something, maybe Prairie View has some ideas.
I'd kind of like to know if our resources in Marion County have changed any,
Okay.
Yeah.
whether that's staffing, whether that's hours, what it is.
Okay.
Because I always kind of, in my own mind, thought that was a 24/7 deal.
But I think most of the people, resources will come out of Newton. Nobody lives in Marion County.
And I'm 10 years, more than that, I'm 20 years behind time on this, so that's why I say I don't know exactly, talking to Rob, what can happen, but we used to have to go to Newton at Prairie View, and only if you had certain criteria to meet. I've never seen, I don't know what our Marion County Prairie View does for us.
There's an office there.
I know there's an office.
Well, there's
but at 1 o'clock in the morning-
workers, social workers there.
Yes,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
All right, let's table Prairie View for a week and get some information from the Sheriff's Department.
I will go over and ask,
Okay.
you know, and have him give us a report or something.
Okay, it may not be that he has to be here in person.
No.
If you could go over and get your
Yeah.
questions answered,
Yeah.
then bring those back to the
Okay.
board.
I would-
Let's-
I'll do
let's-
that.
Let's take it that way, and then maybe we can take it up under administrative
Okay.
next week. Let's move to Harvey, Marion County CDDO.
We're over on that, and I got a meeting here at 4 o'clock today, but we've sat there, and Harvey County has always give more than us, but we they've been they really haven't asked that we go a whole lot more. So I'm comfortable with where we're at.
Would that be a motion to approve that?
Yes, I'd make that motion to approve that.
Okay, we have a motion to approve budget allocation for 2022 from Marion, Harvey County CDDO. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kent. Motion is by Randy. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Let's go to the Marion County Fair Association.
The fair, I know that they're looking for about 55,000 extra this year.
For the building?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know if we want to go work these numbers together, want approval, or if you want to keep them separated.
I'd recommend keeping them separate. This is their regular allocation, and then when the building time comes,
You get a formal request.
right, get a formal request on the building, see how their fundraising goes. Does that sound appropriate? Would someone like to make
Make
a
a
motion?
motion to approve 16.7.
Okay, we have a motion from Jonah. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Dave Crofit. Motion is to approve a 2022 budget of $16,700 from the Marion County Fair Association. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Marion County Conservation District.
That one's already done.
Oh, that's done, sorry, very good. Let's move back up to the top. Kansas Legal Services.
Make a motion to
Make it do-
approve
oh.
it.
Okay, motion by Kent, second
Second.
by Jonah to approve 2022 budget request of $4,000 Kansas Legal Services. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Families and Communities Together, we don't have a request, but we did fund at $6,000 last year.
We've been funding it every year.
Is that a motion?
We can request a report too. Whatever you do. If they're active, I mean, the office is in 410's building over there.
I think we do a report on financials, so I think that would be a just cause.
Okay.
Do you know the guy's name there, Terry?
Yes.
Would you like to wait with the funding then until after the report?
That's fine with me.
Okay, then we will be requesting a report from Families and Communities Together. It'd be a good learning, good time to find out what they're doing for us, for Marion County. And then the Marion County Food Bank, Mr. Dalton.
This has been a very good food bank here, and I have no problem with that, but there is some other towns in our county trying to start some. I just would like to know if a small donation to some of these others too would be, like I said, I know that I don't know what it is today, but usually they're pretty good on giving us details on how many they serve from all over the county.
Which with their new building, they gave us a report at that time.
Yeah, and stuff, and so, but I don't know since, and I'm thinking of Peabody, I just know that they've taken a building over from Dr. Whiteley and made it a food bank, so I don't know how funding's going for them.
I think the commission would welcome a report or a
They can
request.
certainly come in.
They're certainly welcome to make a request.
Okay. That's more than fair then.
Otherwise, I'll make a motion to approve the 6,000 for Marion County Food Bank.
Okay, we have a motion by Kent. Is there a second?
Second.
I did catch who was second.
Randy.
Okay, Randy Dalkey was the second. The motion is to approve 2022 budget of $6,000 for Marion County Food Bank. Any further discussion?
What's it for? I mean,
Utilities is what they do.
Utilities mainly.
That's what they said.
I just know that they got a bunch of grant money to build that facility, so I just wondered.
It's normally been used for utilities.
Utility bills have gone up because they got more freezers.
Any further questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. We got through it.
Okay. We do have some early checks.
Okay, I believe you have them in your packet. Any questions on the early checks? Biggest one is for Colfax Fire, their construction on their fire station.
And this is, just so you know, that's not county.
Right.
This
is just record keeping.
It's right, so they have their own tax dollars, and they did at least purchase for a portion of this.
Right, so we have
So-
$21,230.50 Colfax Fire, which comes out of the Colfax Fire funding, and then $45 for the cupcakes today, for a grand total of early checks, $21,275.50.
So moved.
Motion by Jonah, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ken. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Cupcakes were awesome, by the way.
Oh, good.
Good $45 investment. Just a quick update to the public, the ribbon cutting at the heated dock was well attended, and beautiful day and beautiful project. Good things take time, it's a good thing. Tina, what else we got?
There you back.
I do, what's that?
Got a computer club.
I do. Did I put that in here?
Yeah.
I did. It's amazing. I can't even remember last week. Okay.
That's what happens when you take your vitamins.
That's true. I did do copies too. I don't know if anybody needs a paper copy of the computer quotes. Okay. I really didn't remember putting them in there. So, hopefully it's okay to stick a little bit of clerk business in here,
Yes.
but my computer was purchased in 2016 and it broke the other day, and Lloyd fixed it, but I need to order a new one. And then I was just looking at my rotation schedule. I've also replaced 2 other computers in my office that were purchased in 2014. I guess time goes a little faster than you think. So I needed to do one for myself and then 2 for staff, and then I'll do 2 more, actually 2 or 3 more the next year. So we can get on an alternating schedule again. Sorry, let's see. Okay, so the one with the star on it, which is it is actually a mini computer, but it's the Lenovo, and the total amount is $1,560.73. That's the one that I would like to purchase for my computer. And then the okay, the one that I would like to purchase for my staff, and honestly, I wrote all that out, but I can't remember now if it's 2 or 3 this year, and then the balance next year. But I wanted to do the Dell at $1,293.06 for staff. And it'll be either 2 or 3, depending on my rotation there, that I need to confirm after the meeting, but.
You need a motion?
Yeah, since both of these are over the $1,000 limit, it would be great to have
I'd
a
make that motion to purchase the 3, well, total number, whatever you decide on there for that, for what you've explained here, yours plus the others, another one too, for 2 or 3 times, whatever your total is.
Okay. That's okay. I'm so sorry.
So we could have a motion by Commissioner Dahlke to purchase the first one recommended for the county clerk, and then up to 2.
Up to 3, so it'd either be 2 or 3.
3 staff. Not to exceed 3.
Yeah, there you go.
Of the, from the Dell quote.
Okay.
We have the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Crowfoot. Any further discussion? Everyone clear?
I'm trying to get there.
Okay.
What are warranties nowadays? A year? No warranty? Maybe some warranty.
Yeah, it's not very long, but
30 minutes, 30 miles.
It's not very long. Gotta clarify that clerk is allowed to spend not to exceed $5,500.
Okay.
There we go. The chair, the motion maker agrees
Yes,
to
I
that.
would accept that.
And the second, Dave Crowfoot, right?
You accept
Yes.
that too?
I accepted that addition to the motion not to exceed at 5,500. Any further questions? Good questions. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
I apologize. I should have had that a little bit,
No more than
left up
55.
a little bit better for
I
you.
figured that's just for tax. I don't think you gotta get taxed, but.
No, we
There's no
don't, but
tax.
But still.
if there's shipping or some little
Yeah.
incidental
You never-
expenses that they add.
You got 6 weeks delivery on them then?
It's just.
No, the ones, the reason I went with the mini is because they do have those in stock, so I should be able to get that right away.
That's good.
There was another one that would have been 6 weeks out that was a full size, so. Okay,
Any other administrative?
that is all I have.
All right, I believe we're ready to get into the regular agenda. Josh, thank you for being patient.
You got a cupcake right here, he's okay.
Yeah, there were cupcakes.
I'm ready to take a nap too.
Well, welcome. What do you have for us today?
Just department business.
Okay.
I will start with the noxious weed department. I do have our eradication report. We do that every year, just kind of the numbers and everything.
Okay.
It's been a lot to sign that one. It's just talking how much chemical we've sold and the acreage throughout the county that's been sprayed by the farmers and myself. And you know, last year I didn't get out and do a whole lot of spraying because I was in the truck. So
Sure.
numbers are down a little. So
Okay. That was gonna be my questions, how compared to previous years, but really more an issue of time.
yeah,
Not that there are any less thistle or
no,
noxious weeds.
no.
Yeah, Commissioner Dalkey, you have a
Yes.
question?
Yeah, Josh, and I know we've gotten rid of the big weed truck.
Mhm.
But before that, before your time, and I don't know whether you remember seeing somebody bring it in, Ronald and Bud had started, I don't know that Bud ended at it, but brought in our county, and they had a plan to do sort of like quadrants, quarters,
Mhm.
to cover different things, and that was brought into us to show where you have sprayed,
Okay.
you, the county,
Mhm.
and so, I don't know how the rest of the commission feels, but it was very informational.
Okay, I can, that's new to me, but I'd be willing to.
Well,
start out
I
and
haven't
show
seen it for quite a few years, that's
Yeah.
why I'm asking this, is, it was very informational to see what our people are spraying,
Mhm.
and what you sprayed, whether it was for X or Z,
Mhm.
that's what it was, so.
Yeah, that's.
Just to follow up on the idea, I think would be very helpful to you too, then the next year.
Mhm.
Most of us are visual, and if
Yeah.
you have a map, and you may already have that on somewhere else in the wall.
And most of the, our general areas that are more problem child, we know where
You're
those
well aware
are
of where they are.
and stuff, so those are some of the spots I hit last year, was up around
Good.
Durham, and there's a couple spots around Peabody.
But that's helpful for us,
Yeah.
and just a quick.
Yeah, nope, that's,
Visual would be great.
We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
yeah.
Josh, do you have the same compliance challenges we talked about? It's been more than a year ago. Kind of stopped with all the other issues.
Yeah, I haven't had very many. They did start in and they were doing some spraying, and there a couple of years ago, I brought in about force spraying, and I brought that up, and lo and behold, that got around and people were calling and they were spraying, and because
We did a couple of letters and some
Yeah.
along too, but I just wondered if we were still having that problem, because that's going to gear up again in spring.
yeah, right now I haven't. They've been doing what I send them,
Good.
and so.
What, that was my next question. Where do you divide the line from your action to his action?
If I have a repeat person that does year
Okay.
after year, really doesn't get out and do anything,
Okay.
then that's where I'll take
Okay.
it to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you generally approve that report by a motion and a vote. I know it seems strange.
We have a motion by Jonah, can let's see, what's the name of it?
Yes, I'm sorry.
The annual noxious weed eradication progress report for 2021. Motion by Jonah, second by Randy. Any further questions, discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. 5-0.
And we do have to sign, you say you got line there? for
Yeah,
those?
yeah, there's line one there, I think it's the second page, I believe, on that one.
That's a lot of Johnson grass, which
Yeah.
I heard a lot more about, so,
Jeez,
yeah.
and musk thistle.
I'll
Yeah,
grab it.
that's-
When did you grab a copy of that too? for-
Yeah, I'll do a copy with them.
Okay, move on to the next. We can sign while you start your.
This one's just a management plan. It just tells them, gives them an idea of where our problems are, what we're doing to take care of it and work with the public and other ways of controlling it, you know, through biological mowing or spraying, so yeah.
I won't sign until we vote on it, I guess.
Oh, right.
Better wait.
I hope it has a shorter title.
Yes, yes it does.
Okay, we've got the 2020 management plan for Marion County.
2021.
2022.
2022, sorry. Sorry. I'm glad there's lots of years to pay attention.
Yeah.
It's
I was trying to date that right there, and I wrote 2020 because you said that.
about 1 year behind, 2 years behind. It's not what I say.
You can see it, I had to scratch it out.
It's not what I say, it's what I
I'll
mean.
put a question mark behind yours.
Yeah, okay.
Just happened to be the perfect time.
Did you want to just briefly give a quick walkthrough of your management plan, or
Like I said, it just,
do you want me to quickly hit it, or?
you can, it just talks about, you know, where our problems are, you know, in our ditches, private, you know, cities. Talk about all the, should have in the musk thistle, the cerise, Johnson grass, bindweed, and kind of the controls of it, you know, either spraying it, mowing it. There's biological, you know, you can use insects to help control plants and stuff, so, thank you.
Do we contact the entities about Johnson grass that we have no control over, like KDOT, like the railroad? I mean, it's awful.
Yeah. Railroad, I can get a hold of them, but you know, the railroad's their own
But
world, they're.
KDOT, I mean, 56 and 50 both covered up with it.
Yeah, 77's the same way, and I just gotta get with them and talk with them and try and prod them along, see what we can do.
I mean, I
It
never
seems like Rollin
seen
used to
spraying
send,
anyway.
used to send the railroad a letter.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be probably good to have something
Yes.
in writing showing that you have done your
Okay.
due diligence.
Yes, I would request you send a letter too.
Okay.
That way we've got documentation.
With that,
Something else.
typically,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry.
Okay.
With that, they'll typically, if we bill them, they pay it.
Yeah.
And we actually, in some instances, with even some of the cities, they're billing at a
Mhm.
significantly higher rate, just because of the cost of the man hours and that kind of thing. I've not had an issue yet with
I can't
them
believe
paying.
KDOT would.
I don't know about KDOT as much, but I know
Railroad.
Santa Fe and Union Pacific.
Different counties are actually contracting with the state to do that, but you know, manpower, there's no
That's
way
a-
to have the manpower to do that.
Just being able to spray a railroad, I mean, the access is just, would almost be impossible. So every half mile or whatever you gotta do.
I would tell you, in case you don't remember, just what Kent was talking about, the railroad. Rollin even contracted a spray outfit to come in and spray the railroad. They did it with a helicopter or.
Probably
Maybe
that's what we'd
airspace.
have to do.
And so that is available if you
Okay.
have to go that far with the railroads, that,
If that happens, let me know.
Somebody
Okay.
surely got
And
a
I'll
perfect.
do the paperwork part of that.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Working agreement.
But you can't, the railroad guards that very, very close.
Yeah.
what about our
They have contractors.
small
That's true.
towns? And I mean, I see some small towns in our county that I don't think they send any letters. I don't think they do anything about it, Johnson grass. I just see that in some of the towns that don't have maybe a working council or a council or something to that effect. And I don't know, you know, it goes pretty wild. So.
All right, let's circle it back to the 2022 management plan. Are there any other questions, or? I know you all had a
I'll
chance.
make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Becker to approve. Is there a second? Second by Jonah. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Okay.
I know throughout the summer, when we did our budgeting, I kind of mentioned about taking an ice spray truck in and getting it updated, a new motor, new pump and stuff. Just want to make sure that's still okay, go in and get quotes and bring them back. And
Any concern or opposition from the commission? I think we talked about it last year. So proceed
okay,
getting that information.
okay. My help.
60 days, maybe spray time, huh?
Time's
Well,
coming.
the must thistle, I get out and I chop it and do that because I think that's more effective than sometimes spraying. I've seen a lot of spraying of must thistle that you'll see an S in it on the tip of it, you know, that they get sprayed, it goes to die and it comes right back to life. So I think a little more mechanical on that one, so.
Fire.
That won't kill it.
Makes them grow more. Audra, she's got all her spray license, and I'm gonna send her to the basic weed school. It's a little more knowledge and, you know, understanding of things and how things work, so that'll be the second week of March. She'll be in there. First week of March is a weed conference, so I'll be going
They have a team.
for that, so. Other than that, that's all I have for there.
Where's your weed conference this year?
It's in Topeka.
Heard anything about the chemical situation?
It's, I'm kind of starting to work on that, trying to get bids on it and get started on that. It has gone up, some of them's doubled, if not tripled in price. So we might get half to a third of what I normally get in chemical this year.
Yep. Until it starts reflecting in the food prices.
But the sooner you get on it, the sooner.
Yeah, hopefully I can get it sooner so it's not as pricey.
Yeah, it's only gonna go one way.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good.
Also, guaranteeing supply.
Sure. Right, yeah. What else do you have?
Transfer stations, everybody's doing good there. They're getting rock spread at the back where they got the new door in.
Is that finished?
The door's finished, but they get time to get up there and try spreading the rock and getting that built back up, so.
Parking inside the cage area?
They should be parking in the back. I've had talked with them
Well,
on that.
personal vehicles, but the.
Personal vehicles.
But the.
Yeah, in the back.
Good.
Other than that, that's, any other questions?
Thanks.
How about, on the backhoe, have you looked anywhere to see if we can throw just a regular pad and take the thumb off?
Well, I think about it, I still need to I'd like to slip down to Harvey County and look at theirs. Most of them, I think, that I've kind of heard through grapevines is that they just deal with solid waste. They don't have the C&D. That thumb and the bucket I know helps break things up, moves things, so we can get it smoothed out in that trailer too. So, but I still want to get down and look at those couple places and see what theirs is, and if we can get by with building something that I can have a dual purpose with.
It would be good for you to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made an inspection for at least 3 to 4 months. What's our cement edge looking like?
You know, they bump it once in a while, but I'd still, you know, you can still see where they've hit it, but it hadn't gotten any worse in spots or anything.
Okay. Yeah, that's my main concern, because I have seen 3 operators in a matter of 30 minutes, 3 different operators jump in that thing and try operating it to smash and move, and everyone I hit it the day I was watching,
Mhm.
so. I just know that no matter what you do, that thing sticks out and you're trying to get the stuff to move, you're trying to do this and that, and your focus maybe is where the material's going instead of where that thumb's at.
Mhm.
And it does a lot of damage, even to the trailers. That's, some of the rips in the trailers are due to that thing. And so, I don't know, we're getting new trailers, and I don't know what our lifetime is, but that one was a 13, and it's a piece of junk, I think. That's the worst one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's less than 7 years for 60,000. For a year, well, trailers are 60,000 or more now, I don't remember.
I remember what we had, ours was 68.
68.
I think so.
And
The word one now would probably be
well, that's
2 years to get it.
That's what I'm getting
Take
at.
care of
is
what we got.
we looked at it, but we didn't go ahead and order a second one, and so
We need to probably.
I'm really okay. What happens if your new trash service starts? I don't know if they'll bring any more to us than what Waste Connections did, or whether Waste Connections was even bringing it to us.
So Waste Connections never brought any unless their truck was full.
Yeah.
And that's the only time we'd see them, maybe once every 6 months or so.
So
My
my
been
point
there at the right time, because I seen them come in.
Now the roll-offs, that's another story, you know, but
Oh, okay.
they're trash trucks. I don't, you know, I've only seen them a few times here and there.
Well, and how is our new service down up there? Have they started delivering to you?
Nisley's
No.
or
Weebies.
Weebies.
I think that they're still going through their
Okay.
conditional use permit special process.
Okay.
Okay, that, I know Nisley's brought in, I think they set up on a few of their customers once a month pickup.
So they have brought some in, which is a new, they're new to us,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
They started in
I'm
the
sure we're gonna
roll-off.
see an uptick,
Well, that's what I'm wondering about. How-
because, I know the Weebies are gearing up, they've bought most of their equipment. I think.
It might be if you could, in a month, give us an update, volume.
How many
Okay.
loads a week you
I can-
hauling off?
I can check with them and see when it's gonna start, but they've been signing up.
Yeah.
About 8, about an average of 8 probably loads. Some of them are 2 loads a day, and then there's a day or two that's 1 load a day, so.
We're getting great volume.
So we could absorb a little bit more and stay, with no more than, we can't make more than 2 runs a day.
Oh, you can do 3
Can you?
runs, you can do 3 runs, cause,
Can you?
yeah, you're busting and moving and trying to do it, but you can get it done.
I can see us going to 2 a day every day.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's more trailer wear, so
Right.
I think what I need is to know just exactly, I know the one trailer's about gone, but I'd like to know what the shape of the others are. I mean, tire-wise, condition-wise, side-wise, because once you get so many rips in them and stuff, they start eating up, and that's when stuff falls out, and that's what we don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So how do we set our rates for the industrial people?
C&D?
Like the co-op elevator and
Commercial.
Work and Honey?
It's all through the fees. I don't know how that piece of it.
Well, like if you're coming in with
It
like a
would-
big load of something, you charge them.
If they come in, we just use C&D rates.
But Cooperative Grain's coming in with 100 ton of mismatch
Yeah.
feed, 100 ton.
So it's my understanding that if they're bringing in big loads like that, that the transfer station is charging them as.
It's
an
many
amount.
loads.
Yeah.
What about-
questions?
well, where does it, in our solid waste deal, it states about how many roll-off, or how many dumpsters are out.
Well, on commercial, they're charged by, is by dumpsters and number of times a pickup.
Yeah, and
So if they're bringing beyond that, then they should be getting charged. If it's an excessive amount or a lot, then that's separate.
But we have no police. I
Well-
mean,
There's the pickup, and then there's, if they're delivering in individually to the transfer station, then you still see it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a certain amount of C&D we let people get by with without charging them?
It's,
Well, I just,
The
this morning,
answer is-
I was there this morning and I saw a guy with, you know, the
yeah.
30-gallon things dumping sheetrock and
The answer is no.
everything.
The answer is no.
Usually, it just depends on how much they have, or, you know, what the weight of it is. You know, I don't.
I'm just wondering, do people that, you know, have those, you know, small amounts of C&D, there's nothing that says anything on the garage doors,
Mhm.
don't be dumping C&D through here.
Yeah.
That is a deal that, folks, it's either we take care of our own business or we start charging taxpayers more. I mean, if we're going to charge more, if we don't charge for anything else, and there's probably, during the summer, maybe winter's not maybe so bad, I don't know, but there's maybe 10 to 15 small trailer loads that comes in that's no charge for, little two-wheel trailers. Back of the pickups, which could be a two-wheel trailer. We don't charge for any of that.
You charge some of the trailers, don't you?
Well, I
For
mean, if they get
C&D.
You run them across the
if
scales.
they get big enough, but if it's just what Kent just said,
That come
we
in
don't
through-
do that.
Come in through the window.
yeah, or either come in through the window, they used to dump it
Well,
right on the floor.
that's just it, I'd hate to be abused by thinking, well, I got a half a pickup load, I'll just pull up the garage door and start trucking.
And usually the guys have been pretty good. They catch them and they send them around and weigh them and stuff. So they're
I mean,
watching the door.
you've gotta kind of police.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're getting into a more lengthy and in-depth discussion. Why don't we pick this up put it on the agenda item for later time? To get more in-depth into
I think
answering
we
the questions.
check on our industries, you know, taking advantage of us, I feel.
I guess I'd maybe
I
ask
don't think
Josh,
industry is, I think it's
Not
just
the interest, but
you've heard some of the
Okay.
questions raised today.
remodeling
You
a
can
room or
prepare
something, you know, and they
some
get a
responses.
half a pickup
Okay.
load.
feed
And
about
then
100
maybe
tons.
we'll,
mismatch feed that,
2-3 weeks, sound all right?
Yeah.
and yes, mix
Get
it
back
in.
on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Told you the answer was
I don't know
no.
if you noticed that.
There's always something.
All right, that's gonna wrap up our discussion on
Work on
the transfer station.
honey barrels all over there.
I just want everybody to think about it because
Okay, let's get the conversation. We've got one speaker.
Paying for all that.
Commissioners, we've got one speaker, Randy Dalkey.
But I'm just wishing everybody would think about it and take a good look at it be fair, because everybody has to pay for it. And if somebody is doing more than what's the rate, or whatever, they should.
We'll come back with a more in-depth discussion of that topic. Let's just not tackle it today without information.
Yep.
Try and
Yeah,
not change the
appreciate
subject.
that. Yep.
The only thing I had was the hours of operation.
Mm-hmm.
I know when you were short on help, you shrunk it back.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna go back to extending it?
I have a better turnout of my guys, you know, sometimes they come in early so they can leave early, and I have one person, I feel like just kind of leaving it where we're at. They're showing up, they're doing their jobs, and, you know, we've always had maybe one or two people before 8 o'clock, and you might have one or two people that show up 5 minutes after 4 o'clock, and that's it, and then they're sitting around doing nothing, so.
It seems like the one complaint that I get is, I can't even get off work in time to get there.
It's the same person.
Usually, well, there's about 5, but they rarely call, and there's one person that calls.
All right, thank you, Josh.
Thanks.
You're just gonna get copies of both those?
I'll get them and have them give it to you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, is Susan available?
She lives out there.
Keeps going, Commissioner Mueller. keep
That's
going.
it's a good topic, but we need to tackle it separately. Hi, Susan, go ahead. We're ready.
Oh, good
Come on,
evening.
sit by me.
Okay.
I know it's scary down there now.
It's fine. Well, I don't know, Tina and I haven't made much progress with those quarterly report things, but we will. But I don't know, did you all have any questions? I have a few things on my little agenda here.
Let's go ahead.
Okay. Brad and I have been working on a letter to go to delinquent taxpayers.
Great.
Preliminary to when they get the real letter from the attorneys. Brad sent me an updated one this morning, and the only thing I am concerned about is I didn't understand a lot of the words in it.
It's gotta be.
He's an attorney.
If it's going.
And I
So-
succeeded is what you're saying.
So if I don't understand it, I don't know if other people understand it. But if that's what it needs to be, then that's okay.
Okay, I can.
Do you want me to do a translation?
Brad.
Yeah.
Brad,
I'm
you
not
get
good at it.
layman's terms.
What do they call it at the end of the document?
Because I know it has to be.
Had to dumb it down, huh?
It's to dumb it down. Because my name's gonna go on, people are gonna say,
It's a layman's term thing down there at the bottom.
And then when they call in and ask you,
Everything
you're gonna
just
say,
read.
I'm done.
I don't know what that means, and I don't want anything to
Disclaimer.
go out that I
Right.
don't understand.
Correct.
But the simpler the better.
I'll rework it again.
Sorry.
And I'll run it through Tina and Cherry, and that will usually solve it.
Okay, and I don't mean to, I do appreciate your input, because it needs to be worded correctly, and
There's a couple of things that I will make sure we have to have in there.
and that's fine, that's,
And I think we'll include that copy of the policy that was approved
Great.
with each of these, even though it's extra paper, I think people need to have that so they know what the overview is.
Or you just make her a cheat sheet.
He gets paid by the word.
That way she can just say that it basically says this,
Yeah.
but we're still signing the official.
Yeah, but this is what you need to
Pay
know.
your damn taxes.
I know, and I appreciate your expertise with that, because I know it has to say it a certain way for it to be.
Maybe we need two sheets.
Get the
summary
point
and
across.
the official. You'll get that.
One thing that we talked, I think we talked about this when I first took office, was the possibility of maybe our office, the treasurer's office, closing at 4:30. Did we talk about that at all? Maybe we didn't. I'm not proposing that today. I just wanted to toss that out there in case we didn't talk about it. I thought we did, but anyway. There are a number of offices, and I'm putting together kind of a spreadsheet of other offices in the state of Kansas that do close at 4:30. We wouldn't go home at 4:30. We would just be closed to the public at 4:30. That would give us a chance to wrap up our day and get my people out hopefully by 5. We're one of the unique offices where we have to be ready to go with the money in the drawer and our computers up and running and all of our programs ready to go by 8 o'clock in the morning, because a lot of times we do have customers waiting outside the door. And so the courthouse closes at 5, and so we are available, which we don't mind a bit being available until 5, but the only problem with that is that it sometimes sets us later getting home. And one of my concerns is comp time, is that we have comp time every day, because we have to clock in early enough in the morning to get our computers up, and then we don't clock out until everything's accounted for after 5. Now we can't change at 8 o'clock. I don't want to change at 8 o'clock at all, but the 4:30 is one option, and I'm open for suggestions. One thing that we have changed that has helped a lot is that we no longer do title work after 4 o'clock. And because we had some frequent customers who would come in like at 5 till 5 with a title that had a problem, and so sometimes the clerk is just, ready just to get done, and we kind of rush through things when we probably shouldn't. So we've kind of nipped that one where customers now, if they're in there by 4, we'll go ahead and start their title work. And the reason for that, the real big reason for that, is that we lose state support after 4.
Right.
Sometimes it's 4:15, sometimes it's 4:30, but that's what we've encountered. So, and 99% of the title work we don't have any issues, but now at the MVDAs with the national database, there's another fly in the ointment where if there's a problem with that, we can't just go past it. We have to call them and have them fix it. So I just don't want to, the reason for doing that was we didn't want to start a customer and then not be able to finish it that same day. So I'm just tossing that out there. I'm not saying that's, I'd like to have your input as well. We're here to serve the public, and that is always my #1 goal, is to serve the public. And I don't want to take any of that away. And I don't know if closing at 4:30 would be a significant
inconvenience for our customers, and do not want to cause that.
Thoughts by other commissioners?
I think you would know what the best thing is for your department. If you're busy 4:30 to 5, then that'd probably not be a good idea. But if you're not busy anyway, then.
And it varies, it varies, because even though we don't do title work after 4:30, we don't do driver's license. Our last driver's license typically is at 3:30 for that same reason, because we lose driver's license support usually by 4:15, 4:30. And so typically now that we've kind of changed how we do title work, but then we don't have as many of the last minute customers as we used to have. Now during tax season, yeah, but typically when people come in, they're, it's something that either they could just drop off in a Dropbox and we can work it for them, or it's a question, and we would still answer the phone. We'd be there until 5. So if somebody really needed to talk to us, they sure could. But anyway, I'm just kind of tossing that.
I think the general consensus is you understand your department, and it sounds like the greater demand is in the morning, and factored that in with these other issues of driver's license and motor vehicle closing early. It seems to make sense to use that approach. Again, any other comments?
I don't know, I've heard some concerns, but I didn't pay too much attention to them because I was still under the impression that we could operate till 5. But if you're losing support, I at least have some information why that you may be doing certain things. So, I don't know how the general public is going to say, well, you get up there at 4:30 and they're all shut down, 3 or 4 offices shut down. I don't know whether Susan or whether Tina's office would, Register of Deeds would, but I don't know. It is a good concern.
And I'm concerned about that too.
Yeah, it is a good concern.
Because I want to be fiscally responsible as far as the comp time and all that's concerned, and I also want my people to get out in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
And
I've seen that, especially at tax time, they're sitting there at 5 o'clock, still collecting on
I
somebody.
know, and I don't want to ever discourage that.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I mean, it's kind of a.
What you're saying is a few procrastinators cause us to have comp time daily.
I don't know if
Yes.
they're procrastinators.
There's some people.
That I'm thinking of maybe just the people that just, my driver's license due. You used to be able to come in, but you can't do that no more. You gotta call in for
Right.
a reservation.
Yeah, that's all changed.
Yeah.
And people like that. They like knowing that when they come in, they're gonna get served right then and there, and they walk out the door in 10
Yeah,
minutes.
we can all remember when we sat out on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it helps us, and then also I think helps the customer once they get used to the idea of calling and making the appointment. But I'm not, making any suggestions,
cool.
changes right away. I just thought I'd toss that out there.
Good to let us know what's happening.
You betcha, always.
Appreciate that.
It's your job to make a proposal to us.
Okay. And I'm gonna put together kind of, like I said, my spreadsheet, and kind of, that way you'll have some information in front of you. And then if we decide to do it and people ask you, why are they doing that? We can, because I want everybody to understand, including, especially the public, to understand why we're doing this.
But you can't finish the project, they bring in, they can't get help from the state, you're gonna have to come back.
I know.
Does the state close it for?
Well, when we've called to get some support, like the next day I'd call and say, so we called you like at, 4:30, 4:35, and we didn't get any answer. Oh yeah, we close between 4, I go, what time do you close? What time do you quit? Well, it just depends. And I think they still have quite a few people working from home. So, they probably don't know. I mean, I don't know how that works.
We don't.
Yeah, so I think they're more of a, it's not quite as tucked in as it was when they're all in the same office. I know you guys are running late.
That's all right.
Could I ask for an executive session to discuss non-elected personnel? And probably 5 or 10 minutes would be plenty.
Do you think you can do it in 5?
I can do it in 5.
Is this for personnel performance?
Yes. Personnel performance.
I would make a motion that we move into, or that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B for personnel matters of non-elected personnel with the treasurer.
And Tina, if
Tina.
she's available.
And Marion.
Yeah, that's fine.
For 5 minutes, beginning at, give me a time, Joe.
1:35.
1:35, coming out at 1:40. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Kent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
I heard Kent say second. I seen Randy hold his hand up.
Yep.
And I said second right behind him.
All right, let me get everything shut down.
Yes. Thank you. Right, but thank you very much.
Not quite yet, but,
That's
yeah.
Don't we have 2 or 3 departments that's wanting to do something? Road and Bridge, this department, there's another department too, so.
Mhm. You do.
Perfect. Well, thank you for your time, and then just, we'll see. Okay. Thank you.
This
Sorry.
conference will now be recorded.
We are out of executive session, no decisions made. With that, we are ready for Krista. Thank you for your patience. Krista, welcome. Sorry I wasn't able to be here in person last week, but thank you for your presentation last week. That was very well done.
Good thing about what I knew last week.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I have is a grant for Chairman Mueller to sign. This grant is from our Safe Kids Coordinator, and it goes toward Walk to School Day, Pedestrian Safety, and Fire Safety Week. And those funds go through September, is what she indicated, so.
And the amount of the grant?
Honestly, I would have to read through it to see.
Okay, sorry.
To see
Sorry
how
for
much it is.
that. And we need a motion.
And that's the application, right?
Yes.
So it
Oh,
would be
okay.
to
Submit.
approve the grant application and have the chairman sign.
Okay, so this is actually the application.
I believe so.
Okay, we have an application to Kansas Department of Health and Environments for the Safe Kids Grant. Is there a motion to have a motion to submit and have the chairman sign the application?
I'd make a motion to the
Motion
effect
by
to sign the
Commissioner
grant.
Balky.
Yes.
Is there a second by Jonah? Any further discussion or questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
This is the same happens every year, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so unless you guys have anything right now for me, I ask that we go to executive session for personnel discussion.
Personnel performance.
No. Well,
Yes.
yes and no.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
would be.
it is, in a way, personnel. I think I know what you're after, but.
Covers everything.
All right, I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B for personnel matters, not elected personnel, with our public health director, commission, county clerk, and county counselor for how long?
20 minutes.
Probably 20
Okay, this
minutes.
is gonna be a longer one, 20 minutes. We'll go in at 2:45, come out at 2:05, meeting back in the commission room. Is there a
So
second?
out at 1:45,
Oh, sorry, I'm
back at
1:55.
2:05.
2:05.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a digital clock. We'll go out at 1:45, it's going to sleep. 1:45, back at 2:05, I apologize. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jonah, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 2:05.
Are you ready?
This
Go ahead.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. We're ready for a report from the Appraiser's Department. Nikki, welcome.
How are you guys?
Good.
So I think this is just my quarterly update.
Okay.
So our studies are completed other than our grain elevators and low-income housing, and that should be completed in the next week or two. The studies and analysis that have been completed have been turned into PVD on time for compliance. We are almost done valuing cities and commercial and have just started our rural areas. The plan is to be done by February 18th and the files to Postalocity by the 22nd and to have them mailed by March 1st. We've had 25 payment under protest for 2021. 16 of them are done. We just received 9 from bank escrow accounts, so those still have to be set up and completed. And then my only other thing is I have an employee that has 17 and a half hours of vacation time that needs to be used by the end of this month, but we are asking if he could use it by the end of February.
That's all.
That's it, that's all I got.
Is it easy?
I make a motion we allow that employee to
Yeah, just a month.
carry 17 hours, 17 and a half hours, whatever, for 30 more days.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Balke about the
Second.
comp time. Second by Jonah. Any further discussion? And that was to carry for how long?
To the end of February.
Till the end of February. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. Everybody understands the motion. Any other questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
That's it.
Just one quick question. Right now, where are you at on staffing?
We
Are you
are
all filled
full.
up? You're full. Good. Good.
Awesome.
That's few departments.
Good deal.
Everybody wants to come work for
Are
you.
you full? Full?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're full.
Good.
So
Thank you.
everyone's there that should be at least.
that's good.
Okay. I won't ask no more. That's it.
Okay.
I'll ask. Training's going well, bringing the new people on board. Good. That'll make everybody's life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. And we have Autumn Chisholm, Rural Water District #1.
And I'm embarrassed because.
Why?
Well, I wrote on one of yours because I
That's all right.
cannot, do you want me to use the
That's
mic?
okay.
Is that
Yeah, you
okay?
can make copies.
Do you want me to sit down or do you want
Yes,
to?
sit down.
Sit down? Okay.
This is called the hot seat.
And for online, this is Autumn Chisholm with Rural Water District #1.
Okay,
Sure.
as Dave said, I represent Water District #1, which is in the northwest part of our county. We understand that there is some money that is available, and so I am here to request some money if that is possible. On your pieces of paper, which I'm sorry, I don't have 5 of them, I kind of did a 1-year plan and maybe a 5-year plan. I don't know if you know that we were put together in 1972. It started in '67. 1972, they started laying lines there. Our wells are 5 miles north of Lehigh on 250th between Chisholm Trail and Diamond. We have,
Right under the railroad bridge.
yes, you go right under the railroad bridge, and there are.
I've been out there. I've been out there a few times.
Okay, true. Our pump house sits there at the corner of Bell and 250th. We have approximately 275 miles of line. We serve the rural area. We also serve the small towns of Tampa and Ramona. We have 4-inch and 6-inch main lines. We also do go into Dickinson County, approximately 7 miles. That's how far our farthest north one is. The district was formed because we had dairymen who could not produce milk very well. And once they got our water, once they received our water, they were amazed at how it made a difference in their production. I've lived there all my life, and I couldn't believe the difference in When I left for college and came back home and my folks had gotten the water, I could not believe the difference in the quality of the water. It was amazing. So, and a lot of us could not live where we live if we did not have this water. We also furnish water to the Tampa and Ramona fire districts, and Roxbury will come when they are close enough, and we put a fire hydrant out at the tower, which is 4 miles straight north of Durham by K-15 there. And so we are governed by a board of 6 members. In fact, one of my former board members sits here, and I can't ask for better board members. That I have worked for the water district just about 39 years. In May it'll be 39 years. And I can never say that I did not have a good board. They have all been great. Our 1-year plan is we want to put in more valves. As we're fixing lines, it's nice to have a valve close by. We were fixing one this morning and it got a little bit crazy, and we weren't even that far away. We replace the individual meters when the 2,000 gallon or 2 million gallon mark is reached. We find that if we don't, our water loss does go up. We want to put in a couple of inline meters to manage flow versus usage. We have a couple of places where we can no longer drive because bridges have been taken out, and so therefore you're going a long way around, and just to get to them, the roads are, one of them is for about, I was going to say about a third of the mile is not maintained. So to get down there, you either go on the farmer's field or you go on what's left of the road there. And about the only way to find leaks is to either put your eyes on them or to turn valves, and then you go put your eyes on them because you got to know where they're at. We like to pig certain lines. I don't know if you're familiar with pigging or not. I know Dave is. We have done that, it's costly. My board would like to see us have one that we could follow, and just the stuff, the pig itself and the little thing that you put in it isn't so expensive, but the other part is like $10,000 just to put it on your phone. It's an app on your phone to follow it, but it's so expensive. We'd like to hire another part-time employee. I am the only employee currently to help with the improvements and maintenance. My arms are not long enough to always get down there and change those meters. But I do have a son-in-law that I call from up north, and he'll come down and help me. We'd like to improve the treatment to improve the water quality, and that cost is always rising. In fact, this morning I got a call saying that our EFOS was going to go up again. In our 5-year plan, possibly looking at replacing well number 4. We have iron back in that well as well as manganese, and that causes a wonderful look on your clothes once in a while, or your water. It doesn't look very appetizing. That would be a treatment change, or a treatment plant change. As far as replacing well number 4, we're estimating, and I've talked to several engineers, close to $200,000. I hesitate with that because I don't know where we're going to go to find water. Because we are on the tip and the little fingers of the High Plains Aquifer. If we go any farther east, we get into Durham's water. Durham has their city wells there. We'd like to work on improving our lines. The cost is about $25,000 per mile, and that's for a 2-inch. So, anything bigger than that's going to be more. So that is my request. Do you have any questions or?
One thing I might ask, I should know the number, but I'm going to ask, how many people are served in Marion County?
In Marion County?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. I didn't look at that. We have approximately 380 active
380
meters.
total.
Yeah, and that would include.
There's maybe 80 in Dickinson County. So
yeah, I was just going to say 60 to 80 in Dickinson.
At least 300 meters in Marion County.
Yes, at least 300 meters.
Which it serves a huge geographical area.
Yeah, we have about 250 to 275 miles of the line.
If you look at the map, pretty much this whole area.
Right.
Just a little background on the funds that are available. It's American Rescue Plan funds.
Right.
A portion of that is qualified for water and wastewater improvements. That's where you've heard about the information. We've had a request from another water district. Part of the process is if the commission does decide to move forward with funding any water improvements or issuing grants like that, we are going to have to develop an application process. So it'll be a paper application. There will be verification on how the funds are spent. How complicated that is still, we still have to work through.
That was part of my question.
Right, I knew that was going to be your question. I've just found out some of that information. But if we go down that road, we will develop an application process. It could be very simple. It may require a little more detail. Other counties have already done it, so we're not coming up with anything new. Our consultant that's helping us with that process would help with putting that together. My hope is it would be fairly simple. But again, anytime public funds are used, we need to have a process in place and make sure for the taxpayers' security, knowing that that money is being spent when it's said it's spent. So I hope that answered the question. I just don't have the details.
Yeah, well, and my other question was going to be the timeline.
Right, and
What
that's
kind of?
the commission still hasn't committed to spending any of those funds.
We have a deadline to
without
spend them,
framework.
which is 2023.
2023.
Tina, how many years do we have?
It's a total of like a 4-year process.
So we-
But I think that commission is looking at trying to develop some plans in the next couple of months.
Yes, our hope would be in the next 2 months, we have a plan for allocation of those funds.
Yeah, so I was just wondering how fast I had to spend it.
No, and then after that, you would have a couple of years, actually.
A couple of years
So
to.
there would be a process of requesting and providing documentation to show, which hasn't been developed.
But it's not like last year where you had 30 days, or, you had to turn around immediately. So there is a time, once it's approved, then you've got time to make those investments.
Okay.
But again, its decision has not yet been made, but we're encouraging
Sure.
people that have ideas to come forward to let us know, so we can work that into our process.
Okay.
Again, hopefully in the next 2 months, we'll narrow that down.
Okay, I just had one other question. Would there be we'd have to come up with matching funds or anything like that?
At this point, I don't believe there's any requirement unless the commission decides
Okay.
to go that route. I think there's other funds out there you could apply for and use this to leverage your whether KDHES funds, whether there's going to be funds in the infrastructure. I was a little disappointed that the Rural Water Associations and the National Association didn't carve out a direct allocation for water systems. I mean, you have to come through your county. Some of the early ones, the counties had to go to the state.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully there'll be some funds through KDHE or EPA, rural utilities with infrastructure that then maybe this could be used to leverage those funds.
Oh, I see, okay. Well, I appreciate you letting me come. Stay.
Other questions?
Yeah, any other?
Well, just a
questions?
comment, and I'm just speaking for this district because I'm a customer of it.
Yeah.
And I know
I've
the
got
other-
2 customers.
And the other districts
Oh, 3.
are very important, but like Autumn was saying, those wells are on the very tip of the Ogallala.
Yep.
That's the only spot in Marion County that has any of that water, and a big portion of the district is almost waterless.
Mhm.
And so if we lose that district, it would have a huge detrimental, because there's thousands of head of cattle on that water.
Yes.
It's not just homes.
Yes, and the 300 homes, so there's huge areas out there. There is no drinkable water.
No.
It is the only source of water.
Yeah, where we live, I mean, we drilled a well, we moved there in '79. We drilled a well, and the smell that came out of that well was not pretty. And, there's just.
We drilled a well just for water, didn't even have to be potable, 2 gallons at 80 feet.
2 gallons a day.
2 gallons a minute.
Must be something though about you people that started, because I just sat in a chair or comfort car this weekend with a guy that's retiring from Rural Water District in Walton, which serves Marion County too. And he's retiring for 38 years. He gave it up the first year. He said that was it. And he's having a get together at the Rural Water Building in Walton February the 20th. I think he's been the chairman for 38 years of that. So, but it's a big.
Come on, Dave, you gotta get back on there.
It's been a.
Those districts have had some very dedicated people.
Yes, that's very true, and so.
What was it that came in before? District 4, the first one?
The first one.
Number 4?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, it was Roxbury.
The Roxbury.
It's really just Roxbury.
They're really close.
Yes.
And they're north about
Yes, we
10
have,
miles.
the two districts border each other, yes.
With their well.
But there's an elevation issue there.
And then we have we have people over here on this whole side in Dave's area, right up the Grant, this area over here, that I think they may have some wells. They wanted a district for a lot of years and have got it.
They tried.
They tried, and that fell through from Mr. whatever his name was in Wichita. Can't say his name, but
Yeah.
anyway, that fell through because that was why Peabody spent $125,000 for upsize in Piney County, Hillsborough, to feed that whole district over there, and it didn't happen. So,
Well, I feel like we are very fortunate. We have wonderful water, even when it looks a little rusty.
but when
It still is
when you
good.
said replace a well, that's where Peabody really. They couldn't find places for wells
Right.
either at that time. So that's why we're with Hillsborough, getting up buying our water out of Hillsborough and out of the plant out there, out of the lake.
Other questions for Autumn on the improvements or the request? I know you didn't put in an actual dollar request, but you're giving us kind of a guideline
Yeah.
of what you're going to be expected to spend in the next 5 years. So what we can do to help, we would like to do to help. That's a discussion where we have to.
Sure.
Again, appreciate you bringing the need to us so we're aware of it.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Ken. Thank you,
Thanks,
Dave, for letting me know, and
Thanks for the text last week too. Checking leaks. He had everybody convinced it was Randy that was gonna make it.
A gas leak.
No.
Oh,
I'll tell you, no. That's where I just came from this morning. We fixed a leak this morning. We fixed 2 on Saturday and a leak this morning. You know, our lines are, almost 50 years old.
72 years.
Yeah. 72. So
Too
that-
dry too, the land's moving.
And we're dry, that ground moves, and it's just amazing the difference in the ground that we have all over the places. But our lines were all glued, and the last 5 leaks that we fixed, they've been popped apart about that far, and it's always right behind that glue belt. It's the weakest
Weakest
one.
part of it.
And any lines installed after
Yeah.
95, maybe?
95, yeah.
They're all slip joints.
Yes,
So
and that's what we put in. We put in
Anything, like the Ramona edition, it was slip joint, so
Mhm.
very rarely is there.
Yeah. Don't
But the
have
point
much.
would be, if the district would replace lines, it would be replaced with a slip joint. The leak issue is much more less.
Yeah. We have,
Not eliminated.
it's kind of interesting, in Dickinson County and in Marion County, it's 300 Avenue, both places, that are the worst. And I don't know if the ground just moves the most there, but I think in,
Had earthquakes,
yeah, I think in some of in Marion County, I know there's 1 mile that I bet we've replaced every jump.
Every
Every 40 feet.
40 feet, yeah.
So, crazy, but, yeah. So
Thanks,
anyway,
Ellen.
I enjoy what I do, I enjoy working for him.
You must, 38 years.
My husband thinks it's more community service, but.
And it is. It is. The value to our community of having water
Oh, yeah.
is, but you hear about internet being so valuable. Well, if you didn't have water, you wouldn't be living there to have internet.
You couldn't have the internet anyway, then. You wouldn't need it.
So we appreciate your service.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
They can go back and fix another leak.
Yeah, don't say that. That means I have to find the next one yet.
All right, we have Patrick with Murphy Tractor next.
How we doing?
Very good.
Good, good. Well, yeah, I'm Patrick Ohm. I'm with Murphy Tractor, and I have cards for everybody if anybody wants one. But I'm just kind of here today, and obviously I talked to Bryce, and just to make sure that I'm on the same page as to why we weren't brought to the table to bid on the motor graders you guys have coming. The two cats, you guys.
Two cats.
I'm with John Deere, so.
You're with John Deere.
Correct. Yep. Yep. So yeah, I was just kind of curious about that, and after I've heard about that, I had I kind of watched and got caught up on some of your commission meetings, and I think you in particular were asking that question as to why we weren't coming to the table, and so I'm just kind of curious to have that elaborated on. And I'm not here to step on toes or try to get anybody in trouble, but I just want to understand that because this is a very unique deal. All the other counties I cover, it's us and Caterpillar. We're always bidding based off a spec sheet, and that's that.
Well, the best thing I can say is you got that note taken, and just hang out. Next person that comes along is going to be able to probably inform you better than we can.
Well, and like I said, I've had that discussion with Bryce, and from Bryce's perspective, it has to do with the joysticks on our motor grader, and the only thing is, though, I mean, that issue's not unique to you guys. There's every big contractor in Wichita runs Cat and Deere motor graders with joysticks. Their guys swap back and forth all the time. That's not a unique thing, and it just seems to me, I mean, the other point I kind of wanted to bring up today is if we're not coming to the table, yes, you guys are getting the Sourcewell discount, but that doesn't mean that Cat's not charging you some huge profit margin on top of that because they know we're not here to bid against them.
I would tell you in Peabody, when last time I bought a backhoe for the city, Deere come in under Caterpillar. The highest one was Case at that time.
Interesting.
At that time, Case was the highest backhoe bidder. That was 20 years ago.
Okay. That might make more sense back then, probably.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what it is today.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think what I'm going to tell you is I know our mechanics has a lot to do with it, and seems like that's what seems to be the thing for our mechanics to carry one company's parts. We went out and we had a road bridge leader that took us down the road with Volvo, and that road really went dry.
Okay.
And that was a sad road that we took, but there was cheaper machines. And,
sure.
But I don't think we have, I think all three of them that we do have is not even 10 years old yet, maybe. I don't know if they're getting close to 10 or something like that.
Your Volvos, you mean?
Volvos,
yeah.
I don't remember the years on them, but.
And those are the ones you guys are getting rid of, I believe, too. Yeah. Okay. Which is completely understandable because I don't think you can get parts for them anymore.
That seems to be the biggest issue.
Yeah.
So, other than that, I don't know why Deere couldn't be bid on it. We've bought a Deere loaders.
Sure. And Bryce has told me too that you guys will probably be looking at a backhoe this year, and we'll be in on that. Okay. But
I just remember the discussion at the time being more one for consistency. But again, you're telling me in a lot of other situations that operators do run both. You talked about one contractor. How about your counties? Do most of them go with one, or do most of them split?
We are always, so basically, there's a spec sheet sent to us in Caterpillar.
Sure.
They build that. Okay. We both bid. And I'm not going to say it always comes down to price. Sometimes there is a feature or two that a county wants that one of us has that the other one doesn't, that will steer them in that direction. But again, it creates a competitive environment where you guys are getting the best deal for Marion County at that point. Even if you end up, because we're not going to come in at a 30% profit margin if we know we're bidding against Caterpillar. But if we know we're on our own, there's a good chance we're going to go in at a much higher profit margin than we typically would. So, I mean, I just think, as much as I would like to win out here, I just can't see in the future how it's not beneficial to Marion County for us to at least be in on the bid. So.
And one other thing that happened in the past, before Bryce was even here, with other road supervisors, we had a road supervisor tell us is this machine needed to be traded off. It wasn't, nobody liked to run it, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I first started. When I saw it going out on the truck from the shop up there, it was a John Deere.
Okay.
And it looked to be what I call a pretty nice machine, but I mean, just from looks of it at that time, it wasn't
Sure.
that old, but they traded it off. And so that's one of the last Deere Caterpillars that I know, or Deere motor graders that we've had.
Okay.
That's been 10 years ago, 18
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have any Deere graders right now, do we?
Okay. Just for our online group, Bryce Goebels joined us, and I'll ask Bryce to, we're being asked why John Deere wasn't considered in the process, and we went through the discussion at the time. I know it would kind of refresh us on why we did that.
Well, and the biggest thing that John Deere and Caterpillar both have good equipment, no doubt about that. The choice my recommendation to go with the Caterpillar was based on the previous performance of the Caterpillar. All of our parts and everything else that we have, filters and stuff like that, are almost interchangeable all the way through there. And so, again, that's one of the reasons we chose there. And obviously, Tom, I talked with Tom quite a bit about that. He's very strong into the Caterpillar as well. We've got all the software, things like that for him. Now, I can tell you that you can contact every county around here. You'll hear 6 of one, half dozen the other as to what they do. Some people swear by one, other people swear by the other, you know. And as I told Patrick, I said it was nothing personal or whatever else. We just wanted to go with the Cat. And, you know, obviously the difference between the John Deere and Cat in that name. It's funny how all the construction equipment is yellow, just whichever shading.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
Komatsu and everything else
Yeah.
to go with it. So anyway, it had nothing to do with any of that. And the other thing that's very difficult with equipment is to specify the general requirements. If you look at what Cat specifies, what John Deere specifies, it's like when you order a car. Everybody has their own little unique way of promoting something. These guys, I guarantee right now, you could put both the two salesmen we have in a room, and they would go for hours and hours and hours about which one is better. Well, mine has better digging capacity. Well, mine is faster, and mine recovers faster. You know, whatever the case may be. It's almost impossible to try to specify something that both of them can compare to.
Which one's got a workspace?
A workspace, what do you mean?
Like fold down tailgate.
I haven't got that. Now that may be coming. That may be coming, but yeah. And like I said, that is just the big. I mean, it's you know, it's just like taking two different car manufacturers and said, hey, this is what we want.
Now, to shift gears, I'm going to interrupt Ken, just one quick question. To shift gears a little bit to the process that was used, wasn't there a purchasing process?
That was through Sourcewell.
Right.
Yeah, and we get a big discount from.
Remind us just of.
Yeah, and we'd have the same thing through them
Right.
as we go through that. That gives us about 37% off of a retail price, so it's a huge amount. And basically, we don't have to go through the bidding process that way. They just tell us what the price is. And that's what.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, Ken.
No,
That's not.
I'm just saying, you know, we send out a spec sheet for what we want.
Mhm.
So are you telling me that the two specs come back different?
Well, in this case here, we didn't send out spec sheets.
Well, I know that, but in
Well, for
past
instance,
history.
if I go out and say, okay, if I specify X amount of horsepower and X amount of top speed, X amount of digging, again, trying to look at, I've got the books downstairs for both of them, trying to tell you which is better that way. That's the problem, is that it's almost impossible. So basically you open it up to say, if you want everybody to bid in there, you basically just say, I want a motor grader.
I'm going to give it back to Pat
No.
to respond. You had pretty strong body language.
Yeah, so first of all, Sourcewell, how Sourcewell works, John Deere and Caterpillar do go to,
Both of you.
they have negotiated discounts with Sourcewell.
Right.
They do not limit us on profit margin. So where you're getting a 37% or whatever it is,
Mhm.
That does not say that Caterpillar cannot go in there and put 20% profit on that. And in no way limits that. So, yes, I mean, that is 100% accurate what he said, that there is negotiated discounts, but that still doesn't mean that if you only get one bid, that CAT isn't knocking that profit margin up. So just want to be clear there. So,
and like I
and
said,
and if I can just elaborate on the spec deal too. So the spec deal, we generally get a spec from a county, and it says minimum horsepower, joystick controls, 6-wheel drive, any other specs you guys want. So I believe you guys bought 140Ms, is that correct?
they're actually 150, isn't the one that no, we brought the 140s, which is the old 12s.
Okay, so the 140, so all-wheel drive joystick machine is a 672 GP from John Deere. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So if we're coming to the table, that's what we're bidding against, that's what we're going to bid you guys. So, because horsepower is similar, weight's similar, all that is similar. So, if you go to a 150, we're gonna bid a 150 all-wheel drive joystick, we're gonna bid a 772 GP. So, I mean, we basically have 3 sizes of machines, and they're gonna go 140, 150, 160 with Caterpillar. So we have the 672, 772, 872. So 3 sizes, and that's exactly what we're gonna bid. So it's.
What about, like add-ons, like your GPS, your tracking capabilities, your things like that?
We have all the same stuff in general. I mean, there is minute specs that are different, but it's very rare that if we get a sheet with 30 specs on it, that both of us are gonna hit all 30 of those, but it's very likely we're all gonna hit 28 of those. So I mean, and that's at the point where, okay, we're $5,000 apart, where you guys sit down and say, okay, are these 2 specs that CAT hit worth that $5,000 at that point? But I mean, we were always very close on those specs.
Well, and like I said, that's the main reason was, and the other thing is, like I said, you can contact counties all around here.
Sure.
Some of them have all John Deere stuff, have all CAT stuff. It's just comes down to preference.
Okay. Other commission questions, comments?
The only thing on specs is, what I don't like about specs sometimes is if you have a supervisor that wants a certain machine, they'll come in and overbid, put the specs higher for whatever your Deere is, and if the CAT falls in that range, they set the specs for that sometimes. And that's something that I really don't like sometimes. I'd rather have something neutral to where we bid on it, and instead of setting the specs sometimes.
And that is 100%. I could go to my computer right now and I could print off the spec sheet and hand to Bryce and say, hey, this is what you should hand to Caterpillar, and it's gonna be advantageous to us. That 100% happens, but I think that's why it's so important to get your 2 bids and then sit down and see what's hit and what's not. Because at that point, maybe that little feature isn't important to you, but maybe it is, you know, so.
And Bryce already answered this, I think, a while back, but you guys in no way use any like mechanics from here to come work on
The ag division.
Not on a, that's correct. I mean, we'll cross over on skid steers and small loaders and mini excavators, but anything big is gonna come out of, and we have guys in Park City, Salina, Topeka, you know, so we have techs all over the place, and parts work just as fast as anybody out there, and so so yeah.
The issue with the smaller, like the skid steers and stuff like that, that just changed, what, 2 years ago?
There was a special thing in Marion County.
Whatever it was about Marion County.
There was.
That the local people were not allowed to bid on that kind of stuff.
Right.
They changed that, so now we can not only get bid from Prairie Land, but as well as these guys too, on like skid steers and stuff like
Correct.
that.
Smaller sized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever it
appreciate
is.
that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You're kind of back to the car.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we don't really like it. I don't sell compact anyway, but yeah, our compact guys do not like that you can go to Prairie Land and get the same thing as you know, it's kind of like if you want to do a Ford dealer. Yeah, I mean, it really is, so.
Yeah, but from our perspective,
It's
we
good.
prefer doing local and service.
That's complete, and one other thing I'll hit on that.
Okay.
The motor graders that are coming from CAT are most likely going to be built in Brazil, okay? John Deere builds motor graders in the US. Our transmissions are manufactured in Coffeyville, Kansas. So that's something to consider too going forward. I mean, if you're not only supporting American jobs, you're supporting Kansas jobs as well, so.
I think basically, from my perspective, we that sit in these seats, we need to require bids.
Well, we need to do our due
I mean,
diligence, but.
We gotta be transparent on these, on anything
Right.
that requires a bid.
Yeah, I mean, $750,000, you know, that's a lot of money.
What's your production time nowadays?
So we're in the same boat as anybody. I mean, if you order a motor grader right now.
You don't know.
We don't know. We just started getting estimates again, and we're probably September if you order one right now.
That ain't bad.
No, I mean,
You're only 6 months out.
right before the strike for Deere, we were only a couple months out still. So that, somehow that 1 month they took off added 6 months lead time, so who knows?
And that's a crapshoot for everybody.
It is, 100%. So, but yeah, I appreciate the time, and I mean, if you guys don't have any other questions for me,
We appreciate you coming in.
Yes, sir.
It's good information.
Yep, and I'll leave some cards for you guys too. I think that's all I was gonna hit on, but yeah, I mean, we're, like I said, I mean, we just have mechanics all over the place, and the biggest thing for us is even if we don't win, I like to make Cat make less money too, so I'm okay with that. So,
Like I said, you guys would go at each other for hours.
oh, I know, and that's why I didn't even hit on
Yes.
features. I mean, you know, I know you guys I've stopped by your shop and I've seen you guys working on your circle in the past, and John Deere doesn't make a circle, you can do maintenance on it.
When did Cat start building Ford?
Don't know.
When did they
And,
what?
well, and I mean, they build their stuff here, but it's not only the main part of it, whatever else, but it's parts from all over too.
And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that.
It's
we don't
all
use parts
100%
from
made.
China.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
but
Yeah, it's.
But you can request Caterpillar, your cats to be built in Arkansas, I believe, but it adds lead time and it adds money, is my understanding, so.
Those companies, like anybody else, they're trying to find a place to build them as efficiently and most economically as they can.
Absolutely.
Wherever that is.
And we hesitate to even bring that up anymore, because at any time, John Deere could kick them across the pond too.
Cat was all US made.
I thought every cat was made in Illinois.
Look on it's right by the circle, there's a little plate there, it'll tell you exactly where it's made.
I'm sorry, circle.
The rotating part of the,
Gotcha.
Yep.
yeah, where the blade is.
The parts at the Volvos are really, really lacking.
One that you keep having to weld and
Yes.
So is Cat making an enclosed circle yet on theirs?
Not that I know.
Okay.
I guess we didn't.
Yeah, we probably didn't. Yeah, I mean, John Deere now has they took the rotating part off of an excavator, put it on so that's what holds your blade now, so it's completely enclosed. You never shim it.
Yeah.
You never work on it. You grease it every
Well,
500 hours. is what you
That's what's getting us on the maintenance.
Right.
Is the extra head work. So.
do. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, have a great day. Thanks, Bryce.
Yeah. Last but not least.
We can move to the
Well,
next
wait a
one.
minute. We probably have to deal with. Are you feeling any better? No. All right. The first thing that I would like to talk about was the article in the paper for last week. Page 3 of the Marion County Record, for those of you who read it, was talking about a stop sign that was down at K-15 and 330th.
Well, somebody mentioned it to me.
Yes. It was basically brought up that this sign had been down for a length of time we don't know. But basically it come back and said Road and Bridge was contacted, didn't want to do anything about it, and basically said tough luck, we'll fix it next week. I want to let you know, as well as anybody that's listening, that is not our sign. We were never contacted. The person that was on call that weekend was not contacted. Our traffic control foreman was not contacted. Steve or myself was not contacted. So that miscommunication or whatever else with the dispatchers or whatever was said on radio, whatever else, had nothing to do with us. Because we take those issues very seriously when it comes to stop signs and whatever else. So just wanted to let you know that we were very upset that that was put in there.
What was it?
Is that a KDOT sign?
Yes.
Is that?
Anything along major highways, the stop signs as well as the stop ahead signs are typically maintained by KDOT. They, from what I understand, they did contact KDOT, but the comment was made was they were plowing snow and that was a higher priority than the stop sign. I said, I don't really care either way. I'm just, you know. So anyway, like I said, we were all kind of upset because we were calling each other, did you know about it? Did you know about it? Did you know about it? And wasn't there. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to say that, you know, we were a little upset over the, but,
Well, thank you for the clarification. I did not realize that the stop signs and stop ahead signs on state highways
Well,
were KDOT
yeah.
responsibility.
For instance, Pawnee Road is the same way. Going up to the bottom of the reservoir, they have a stop ahead sign there, and that's the same thing because it joins.
Obviously, if you were notified of it, you'd immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, like I said, and I can understand, again, whatever was said or whatever else, but that is, you know, KDOT's responsibility to determine what is the highest priority, plowing the roads or, you know, whatever, but so.
Okay, Commissioner Dalton's ready for comment.
And I think we had to ask, if you notice the street signs on top of those stop signs, I think we had to ask for permission to get those.
And honestly,
Okay, so,
yeah, and so a lot of times when those signs are hit, I'll get a message from KDOT, hey, come get your street signs, here they are, you know, because they don't want to put them back. I mean, that's our responsibility to put them back up, and it's our maintenance.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
but anyway, like I said, we were all calling each other and going, hey, what, you know, so, but, getting the crack seal information together, I upped the estimate up to about $60,000 just to kind of add a little more factor of safety in there for us. The main thing I was looking at there was a date to open the bids, and my thought was that maybe on February 14th, if we set a time, say to open bids like at 11:30, and then give them a little time to look at them and check things over, and then we could actually approve them in the regular meeting after that. And my plan was to give them till the end of March, could go middle of April to get this done, but we're talking like 5 days worth of work. So they ought to be able to get that done, but now's the best time to do it. So if you guys were okay with that, like I said, if we went 11:30 or, then I could still have a little time to look at them.
I will let the commissioners know we're probably going to be having work sessions most of the Mondays in February. So we will probably be here in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, do they need, the bids, we've gotten down this road before, do the bids need to be opened up in here?
I don't know if there's any legal thing for that or not.
Well, no,
It's just.
in the past, it's almost like if the bids were opened up in here, the people that presented the bids have the opportunity to be here, to
Yeah.
explain their case, or
If there's questions,
whatever, and then.
turn over to Brad.
I don't know that we've taken questions. We opened the bids and the people
Yeah.
are sitting here, that's it.
Yeah, and typically,
I'm going to bring it back. The question is really, we need to be in commission session, not, is that what you're?
That's what I'm, okay, just, I don't think we need to.
No.
But what I'm saying is it?
Yeah, are we
in the
talking legal or
past-
pragmatic?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, is in the past, it seems like, well, that wasn't really fair because I had this bid in there, and that would maybe iron some of that out if it was done here.
But then he would have time to study them and see what, compare apple and
Yeah,
oranges.
a lot of the time it's delegated to staff. Tina's done that before too, where you'll spreadsheet those and have your comparative set of bids.
Right.
And staff will make a recommendation even, or at least give you some indication of what their views are on it based on the fact that they have the superior knowledge.
Or is it something we can open up in here and then the following meeting?
It goes that way as well,
I think you're talking
well,
about.
that's what I was looking at. If you opened them in the morning, it would give me an hour and a half, 2 hours to go through to see if I see anything glaring, and then we can approve them yet that day.
But they would be opened up amongst us and the cameras. And
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, whether, like I said, if you do it at
special
that meeting
session.
ahead of time, then we could still,
Okay.
you could actually approve them yet that day, but unless you want to wait till the next week.
No, that is fine. I just
Okay.
wanted to iron out some of the past
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Well, they just don't like me, or this
Well-
one, you know, and then we gotta ask you, you know, and it's like, no, we've
Well,
all seen it.
I will tell you though that we do not allow any changes to the bids once they're open for
Sure.
at least 30 days.
Oh, no.
So like I said, they can sit here and argue all they want, but if they don't exclude or include or
Right.
whatever else something in there, then.
Simple
So-
clarification.
But they're
There's
sealed
a little bit of
and
a
cut right here.
clarify.
Yeah, well, if that's what you want, yeah.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's what you're saying in the beginning. Just open them here, you go check them, and then.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay,
Never mind.
Risk Commission and Brad, you okay with that? And shooting for the 14th?
Like I said, is 11:30 good? I mean, what time do you want? I want to put this in the proposal, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So
Right.
tell me what time you want.
We could do it administrative business, and then you can come back at 2:45.
Yeah,
He's
we're
already got me
gonna be here.
scheduled. He's already got me scheduled for 2:45, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, we're already gonna be here in the morning. so.
Yeah.
I was just going off.
Well, like I said, I just need a formal time to put on that
So
proposal.
11 o'clock, they give you a couple hours to look at them.
That's good enough for me.
Is that all right?
Whatever you guys say.
I know that we used 11
Well,
o'clock.
we'll use 11 o'clock. The
Okay.
consensus is 11 o'clock for opening on the seal.
Okay, and then I'll say we will approve them later on.
And after that.
Yep. So,
I wouldn't say for sure you will.
well, right,
Give yourself some wiggle room.
We'll review them.
yeah,
They'll be
Possible
reviewed and
recommendation.
with
Yeah.
potential bid award.
yes, there you go. Okay,
And be sure to put that Marion County reserves the right to
Yep,
refuse
that's already
any
in
all
there.
bids.
Yes.
Just because you don't like them?
yes.
Yes.
I made a spreadsheet up. There should be one for each of you plus one for Tina. Sorry, Brad, I didn't think it was really that big for you. I mean, you've got enough paperwork the way it is.
I got one here for you, Dave.
Okay.
Got two.
Basically, all these bids have come in, they were from Elcon, but they're all different. You can see just going across, there's 60, 70, 80 kilowatts, the different brands. I'd like to stick with natural gas. I just think that would be the easiest thing. You don't have to worry about your fuels, gelling and all that other stuff, and it'll always be there. We already have natural gas up there. But based on what we're looking at, I think probably the best deal that I'm looking at is the second one down, the 80 kilowatts Generac. All of them, the Generacs had less, what do you call it, delivery time or whatever else. Some of them were almost a year just to try to get them to you. So according to what was said there, the Generac could be, like 20 weeks, somewhere around there. So basically they're all the same. The only thing that they don't include, or the exclusions, were the concrete pad and then hooking up the natural gas afterwards. That was pretty much all the way across the line. So
What are you shooting for here? What do you want to operate if we don't have electricity for 3 days? What do you want to operate in that 3 days with these?
basically everything in the shop and the gas pumps and whatever else. It will be hooked into our system, just like the one is out here. When the electricity goes out or flickers, this kicks on and runs everything, and I guess the sheriff has their backup also.
Yeah.
So, and we've talked about that. I'd like to set this up to where, obviously, if and when we get a new building down the road, I would move that over there. Would still function all that as well. But like I said, that's the biggest thing is we keep hedging our bets that we're going to maintain electricity, whether it's ice on the lines or big windstorm or whatever else. And like I said, if we're out of power, then we're out of fuel, we're out of any kind of work on that system. So
That's the thing, we're having storm events, whether it be a winter storm event with ice or snow, whether it be a summer with floods and with wind, knocking down trees. We've got to have access to that fuel, we've got to have access to our equipment if we need to.
yeah, we don't face that up there, but you always talking about the brownouts, stuff like that
Sure.
in the city too, which
Well, it's not to say the city's power is not.
Well, up there, we're pretty good. We haven't had any of those issues. They're on a better line system up there.
But getting the power somewhere
Yeah.
further remote to
Yeah.
get here.
Yeah.
I mean, these things.
So,
Other questions?
But Jeremy, I got one. Still got my generator coming in. I had 2 of them ordered.
oh, okay.
I finally got one.
Yes.
Might be one in the works here.
Yeah, it's not big enough.
I
I'm just trying to be quiet.
know, but you're the one we need to ask questions.
I didn't bid it, but my shop bid it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would highly recommend natural gas because you don't have to keep hauling fuel to it. It runs all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm not choosing sides here by agreeing with you there. You don't have to worry about making sure you get your special fuel for the winter. Heat tank, staying warm all winter.
Because once a week it goes off, so it's going to be using fuel over
Yeah.
a period of time, and
But,
Yeah.
you forget to check at the end of the month.
but Randy would, if it was a tornado event, they shut down the gas lines.
Not unless the line's taken out, but the main objective would be to get the fuel back.
That's about
Well, that's the thing I've heard in the past, why
Is your
people argue
gas
against natural
circle
gas.
when it has come from different
Yeah.
directions? Yeah, it comes
No,
from
we have one
different-
supplier for Marion, Cantwell, for Marion and Peabody, and then Hillsboro's on a different supplier, well, different places.
So it only comes from one direction?
Yes.
So if it goes out, well,
Well, and ultimately,
Yeah.
if it got to that point and we did lose natural gas, I know that we could probably get, could we get that converted to propane or natural gas, or bring in natural gas?
You can truck natural gas.
That's what I'm saying, so.
They have done that.
Yeah.
Well, the-
our generator has, we can switch it over to propane.
Right.
So the fuel pumps, you
That
can't
whole
hook up
tank
any
in,
kind
yeah.
of battery or something to them to pump fuel if your electricity's down?
It's all hooked up through our main system. Well, and the thing is though, is, that would just worry about fuel. Our shop will still be shut down, we won't be able to do anything.
So the
So what
second,
it-
sorry, go ahead, Kent, you were.
So how many hours a year are you been sitting idle on average over the last 3 or 4 years?
Not much, but again, it's always those what ifs. You know, you have a backup generator out here. How many times do you use power that this kicks on? I mean,
I've heard
that's
it run.
more than you'd probably like, but, it's one of those things, it's a what if, but.
It's a risk mitigation.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't there a point last year where you were talking about not being able to fuel up for a while?
That was, I think it was a software. Wasn't there a software problem?
Maybe that was just software, maybe.
I guess I don't remember.
I just couldn't remember if it was a power issue.
I remember an issue.
No, it wasn't that we couldn't fuel up, it wasn't reporting over to our system.
That's what.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was just it was a little miscommunication on our part, but, yeah, that was a minor thing.
Okay, the second bid, service is good.
What's that?
Service.
You mean like the 80?
Yep.
Like I said, that was based on, talking to these guys and their recommendation. It's always tough to tell that exactly how much you're going to need, because sure enough, you end up with a real bad thing where you're now running a lot of electrical stuff, compressors, heaters, stuff like that, so.
Every one of these has a service contract.
Okay, very good. That was all the
Okay.
I think that's what he was.
That was my
Okay.
And they all do, they all have their own different service contractor.
So does it have a warranty like a regular engine of any kind?
I
Or
don't
just
remember.
parts of it are warranted?
Well, I don't know if you could,
It's a 5-year warranty
that's what I thought you said.
on pretty much all of them.
That's on the motor generator and the whole 9 yards.
It's at this point where your recommendation is to approve the second.
Well, like I said, we get the biggest bang for the least amount of money, so.
Just because you guys take a vote on this, I'll stay out of it. So I'm just gonna keep
Which budget's it coming out of?
Yeah.
And did you budget for it?
Well, and that was the question was, as far as budget, you know, whether it's a general fund capital improvement, I could take it out of one of my budgets. Is there maybe some pilot money that could go towards this? I mean, as far as that goes, numerous ways to look at it. That was the other thing, was I didn't want to go with the most expensive one, obviously, because, you know.
Okay. Somebody got cut off.
It's all right. They all have pros,
Mhm.
and you know, there's a few that you'll pay a lot more for to get those pros. But
Okay, then I guess I'm ready for a motion to accept one of the bids. Okay, then I will make the motion to accept estimate number 3191 for 80 generic natural gas generator, $38,643.62. And I'm going to throw out, take the money from the pilot money from wind farm general fund. Is that appropriate?
I mean, I think he probably has enough in his road and bridge fund to,
Okay.
but it's whatever you guys
We
want
can
to.
always transfer into the capital improvement fund of the road and bridge, so the motion would be from capital improvement, road and bridge fund.
You mean just the road and bridge
Road and
funds,
bridge fund.
capital outlay line?
Capital outlay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I would second that motion.
Okay, second by Randy Dalkey, discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
abstain.
4-0, 1 abstain.
Hey, before we
Yes.
just go jumping into the pilot money, we need
Yep.
to,
I'm
we
just-
need to lay that out.
Yep,
and-
I agree.
and Get some sort of directions for it.
I'm feeling, well, we've got expertise here to help you, but
Now that you guys have already voted on that, the just potential for infrastructure too.
yes, absolutely. Very good. Thank you for getting me on the right path.
The other thing that I kind of want to bring into you was if the commission had set or had come up with any ideas for pay increases for not only my employees, but the rest of the county. The reason I say this, I was just handed a 2-week resignation this morning, going to another county for $3 an hour more. And it hurts any way you look at it, but that's what we're facing. Like I said, it's, I don't know how they do that. I mean, I talked with the superintendent that he's going to work for. He explained to me what was going on. It's unique to them, you know, where they're getting the money. But it still brings up the issue that we're losing a very valuable employee to somebody else. So, but anyway, and I also have some salary sheets here. One of them is for a new hire that has already started with us. It's ironic that his stepbrother just came in and applied also. So I think we'll be able to get him. Both of them were traveling before and they were tired of traveling and stuff like that. So, but anyway.
They're new agreement. They've got some experience. But they're new.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, the first one has done a very, very good job, and I think this one will too, so.
So we're looking one new employee.
That was the first one
The
there.
first one, and the
Yep.
other 4 are
Promotions.
promotions.
And that was from a 2 to a 3,
Okay.
which we've talked about before. If you look at the position descriptions, there's really not much difference between the two. You know, I've thought all along that these guys should be up there the way it is now.
Right.
And so, like I said, that's mine. And I actually had a 5th one, and that's one of them that was leaving. So, yep.
Well, I know we've had the discussion before about being able to move some of the EO2s to
Mhm.
EO3s.
And the other thing is we've brought up before too is the insurance.
Mhm.
You know, is there any way to look at that, which I think is whenever you're planning on is.
Yes, we just had a private brief discussion about it. That'll be coming up in February.
February, okay.
So,
Which they may or may not be able to, you know, put in, we're just trying to look at whatever.
and again, it's just a discussion.
Yes.
No promises, no decisions,
Yeah.
but we're going to have that discussion.
Yeah.
I see, that's all motor grader operators there.
Yes.
How does that affect your whole department?
That doesn't leave much other people, let's put it that way.
Okay.
That are either at threes
Okay.
or entry level.
Okay.
And I only have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3 of them at EO2s, and they're within a couple years of starting. And fact is, one of those EO2s, he's been looking elsewhere as well. It's just, you know, it's terrible to hear, but you know, these people think that, I mean, they're out there trying to find what I think is a better job than anybody else.
They don't have the hourly rate on there, does it?
No.
What county did they go to?
Well, I'd rather not say in
Okay.
public, but, because like I said, it's kind of a unique situation that they have.
If
But
you need to discuss any individual's performance
Yes.
or any specific situation, we could do that if you
Executive,
want
yeah.
to.
I'd be in favor of just signing the stuff Bryce has brought. He's doing what we asked him to.
Yes, and I will qualify that with, that's not complete. We've got more work ahead of us. This one step is not solving all our problems. It's addressing
Some issues.
a few issues.
Yeah.
We have definitely got a long ways to go yet in our discussions. But that is the direction that we have given you. So, all right, remind me on these, we just announced. There's no motion.
Pass them along.
No action.
Not generally unless you're going way outside the norm of
Right,
what
and
we
this is
usually do
within
in
the
there.
norm. Okay, so I guess then I will announce salary change for, and this is a new employee, Antonio Vendesca, $2,536. Salary change for Robert Shibby, 2,830 to 2,936. Salary change for Dale Nellens, 2825 to 2936. Oh, I'm sorry. The first one was a new employee. The previous one and this one are changed from equipment operator 2 to equipment operator 3. The next one is Kenneth West, 2825 to 2936. Changed from equipment operator 2 to equipment operator 3. And Loyal Wagle from 2716 to 2936. Equipment operator 2 to equipment operator 3.
That still is bringing a motor grader operator up to 35,000 for gross pay at that wage. Divide that by 2,080. $1,693 an hour.
I look at this operator and said, you know, man, I can understand $3 an hour, that's huge. You know, but we got 2 weeks to turn him in, I'm working on it. in the back.
All right, next.
Okay, we had talked last fall about the Father Capen issue or stuff like that up there, and the commission made a decision that any money spent for Russ Ewey or whatever else in that deal had to be approved by the commission. We would like to, Sharon and I and Commissioner Mueller would like to sit down with Russ to kind of pick his brain on what he may think, any ideas, stuff to that effect. Based on what he's getting per hour, I think with 4 hours, we could get by with roughly $500. But I just wanted to get the commission's approval, just to start that process. We wouldn't drop a lot of money into it, but just to give his input on the big picture, and then see if and when we can go forward with that.
Yeah.
So.
It wasn't Russ that we used, right? It was.
It's his firm.
Oh, okay, was his firm?
Yes.
He's where we said not to exceed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but then you made a motion after the event was over that prior to any
Yes.
further
Any dollars
being spent, which nothing has been so far.
Yeah.
Prior to doing that, the board had to.
Right.
So the request can be for maximum, not to exceed $500.
Well, again, like I said, that would be about 4 hours.
To do a preliminary.
And that would be drive up here, drive back.
And you're trying to get information on logistics of.
Well, just his, I mean, because he does this is part of what he does for this firm.
Right.
To give it, he can give us ideas of what he thinks we could do, what has worked in the past, what hasn't worked in the past, and then we can take that information and see, like I said, if and when we want to do something different.
So rather than an attorney, it's
Yes.
more consulting.
There's a big hurry about doing this. We had some bad public perception over the last
The other
week.
thing to remember is sometimes the loud comments are very small minority.
Well, I understand that.
But
But it's still a comment.
This is an issue that has a huge potential impact for the county, a huge positive impact for the county.
Well, and I wish I could tell you, hey, we need to know this by next week. I mean, that's the whole thing, is we're just kind of sitting here.
And that is also, the next thing is, if something does happen and all of a sudden there is an influx of traffic and all of a sudden there is a safety and infrastructure issue, then the question is, what has Marion County done to prepare? And if we have done nothing to prepare, then what's our position?
And so this would solely be on infrastructure.
Well, the infrastructure would be, I would look at it, that would be the biggest priority for me,
Right.
getting people to and from up there. But again, all of those other issues have to come into play, as far as, the marketing, the restaurants, the housing, stuff like that. I mean, it's gonna be again, county/regional effect.
And a lot of
but-
those won't be the county commission's responsibility, but yet as an economic development opportunity,
Yeah.
we need to know the resources and the direction to steer the parties that would handle that, and then get that to meld together with, and again, it's preparation, it's preliminary, but if it happens and the floodgates open and we've done nothing to prepare, it'd make $500 seem pretty cheap.
Have they planned an annual, I mean, there's so much up in the area,
Yes,
but are they
absolutely.
planning an annual type?
Well, there's the annual pilgrimage. What we would be preparing for is the bigger event, that being the naming, the steps toward the sainthood. And there's several articles in other communities that have had that happen, and the influx is overwhelming. If you're not prepared, again, it's not gonna be tomorrow, but we do not know when. Commissioner Dahl.
Wouldn't the Pilsen community have to know something that was gonna have to happen, or they would, I mean, they can't pour it on, they just can't pour it on us, like you're saying, and without us getting ready, but.
Well, I'd challenge you to talk to some of the people in the Pilsen area and their communication with the diocese.
And
There's
from
been
what
some-
I've heard, it's not very good.
There's been challenges there.
Yeah,
And the
and that's
diocese
part of my
has been trying.
reasoning for some of the things that has been said up to now, that I sort of feel that I would back the Pilsen community if
Yes.
they had something going.
Yes.
But right now, I don't see nothing that's really blooming. Until I see something blooming, I don't know.
And that's what's happened in other communities, is the decision is made by the diocese.
Down there.
It's too late.
Well, you had talked about infrastructure. One of the things to look at is even if the church decides, again, what the church does is totally, I say, out of our control.
Yes.
We have no influence on that. But if the church goes in and says, okay, we're gonna build this, the big museum and all the visitor center and everything else is, look what that does for the local utilities. Since Pilsen is unincorporated, that now falls on the county or the rural water district or whatever else. And again, that's where it comes to play, telecommunications. I mean, I say fiber lines, phone lines, whatever else going in and out of there, it's gonna be huge.
Well, I'm not gonna build a 4-lane highway there and expect them to come.
Well, no, and
If you build it, they will come. That's not the plan.
Yes.
All that's being asked is to do some, for $500, you're not gonna get a design work.
Yeah.
What we're doing is trying to collect resources, directions to go, should this come into place, so we're not caught flat-footed. It happens, and then it's too late.
Looking for guidance.
We're just, it's kind of like a emergency response plan.
Yeah.
You put it in, you make your plans ahead of time. If it's needed, you know where to start. You have the contacts. You maybe build a few relationships.
I can tell you when we visited the Secretary of Transportation and we were talking about the cost share and the HRRR, we talked about this and I said, well, we were talking about rails to trails and short lines. She goes, oh, great. She said, that just opens things up for all kinds of more flooding. She's all for those different avenues, and, we get other departments involved with, if it's Department of Commerce and all those different things. And, maybe we could even get some, if we could get some buy-in by Wildlife and Parks, that may help us with some permits or something down the road. That's all the stuff that we want to try to, get in mind.
So it's not a matter of actually making plans for the roads, making plans for the trails, but identifying the issues ahead of time and getting the contacts in place. Should a need arise, we don't have to invent all that on the fly.
Could you just ask for a report from him and pay him for a report of the future possibilities, or?
Well, basically it'd be the same thing. He'll still charge us for it.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying, right now, nobody said nothing to us.
Because we don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Ask him. Then if he comes up with some ideas, then we explore them, maybe.
Well, I don't think he's gonna know when or where. He's a resource person.
Well, that's
And that's our point. We want to get our resources, contacts in place.
You have to call the Pope for that.
Oh, yeah.
I can do that. I can contact him, see what he say, and then come back to you. Anything we do with that, you guys have said you wanted
Is that
prior approval.
that 500 coming out of Road and Bridge or Planning and Zoning or?
What is
That's
it?
how that 500 for Berlin.
That would come out of your alcohol.
Was it
You
2,500?
had designated that out of transient guest tax, I think.
Was that
Because
max?
of tourism.
Yeah,
not tourism.
Yeah.
because it is
Yeah.
not alcohol.
I think it was maximum of 2,500 or something, wasn't it, that they, I don't remember. Anyway, if you want, I'll contact him and get back with you.
All right.
I think we just go ahead and approve it.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the use of, what was it?
Transient guest tax.
Transient guest tax in amount not to exceed $500.
We have a motion to use $500, or not to exceed $500 transient guest tax, to use our planning and zoning consultant to help with.
As a resource.
As a resource. Second by Jonah. Further discussion.
I would like very plain to know that we have not spent any of that 5,000 so far for this decision or for any of this discussion.
Right.
This is the first 500 that has been spent on this.
Right. And that money is spent for safety considerations, for infrastructure considerations, tourism, yes, economic development. These are expenses that would come to the county regardless. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, we had a Kansas County Highway Association meeting last week, which I'm the vice president, North Central. They are having a Kansas County Day at the Topeka on February 16th. And I was gonna go up as the KCHA representative to promote KCHA as well as the other counties. They're gonna be at the Capitol and everything else, so just let you know that's what the plan was. So try to promote and not only the KCHA, but the KAC and everything else too. So I think it's a good thing to, so. Other than that, I don't have anything else unless you guys do.
I think after the meeting last week, we asked you to sort of give us a plan.
Oh, yep.
Sort of what's being graded out here, how many areas we got that's not being touched.
Okay. Area 1, Section 1 is in good shape. Section 2 is coming back. Section 1 man was over and helped out there as well as the Section 3 man, so we're getting things caught back up there. Section 4 obviously is doing well with our new man up there. 5 is the one that we've really been hurting on, and simply because we had the people we have in there we haven't anybody fill that. Now that one of the guy off of Section 4, we're going to move him over to Section 5, and so working full time on that. That will still leave Section 6 without a blade man, and got a guy filling in there, try to get out of that. That would fill everything else that we had except for this guy that gives 2 weeks. The roads are in reasonable shape. The biggest thing that we're facing is moisture. Not having any moisture has been very, very difficult. Throwing that rock around, all we're doing is wearing it out and grinding it up. But unfortunately, is it to the point where we can take a water truck out there? We can't do that either. So that's the biggest thing we're facing. But on the caveat, it's actually fortunate we've had a dry winter, because typically that's when our roads would get tore up. We talked to the blade man. They've given me a list of where we need rock. So we're going to go out and put that together in some sort of a bid to get the rock hauled to get those covered with contract haulers.
Don't we have 12 sections?
Yes.
The rest of them being bladed?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. You might give us a fresh maps with who's on each section now.
Okay. As of today.
Well, yeah, up today or next week.
I understand.
Next week.
And, I mean, like I said, are they in great shape? No. I wish they were better, but I kind of talked about where with this next year do we in 2022 do we concentrate on keep blading roads? Do we spend more effort into rebuilding roads? I think we've got the capabilities that we can do more of that. I just wish I could, if you could tell me what the spring more than anything else is going to bring, that's going to give us, I mean, the last 2 years, we've just been hit terribly bad in the spring.
I've heard some conversation on your bridge approaches and that the edges of the hard bridges is showing.
Yeah.
But with this hard weather and the moisture, it's hard for the grader operator to bring some stuff up too.
Well, and the other option is to bring in more material and just spot drop it all, and then we're chasing things around all over the county too, so on the end. So, the Goldenrod Bridge between 160th and 170th, we are totally done with that now. We installed some riprap on that last week, looks really nice. We will just hope and pray that the water's gonna come up. I mean, that's a given, but I'm hoping we've done enough to maybe keep it in and around the bridge, and the rest of the area is it's low enough now, but the local landowners there aren't too excited about wanting us to go in there and take out part of the fields to fill that road back up. Understandable, but yet I can't justify going out and spend probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring in fill to raise that up for a basically a farm to market dirt road, so But anyway, like I said, we're still working on things. If we come up with, you know, a plan that can work, we can do that. But, you know, and obviously too, the other thing is we're getting people who want sand, so we're working on that too. Like I said, that's the big thing, is just trying to get our sections as well as our help built back up, you know. So we've actually, like I said, I've been pretty fortunate to get some people in, so. But
Very good.
anything else?
Work session will be next week.
Yes.
Like payday starts at 9, so
9:30.
9:30ish.
Brad, did you have anything for me, or? Okay. I think you just want to go home by the way it looks. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Oh, and ma'am.
All right, any comments from the public for the public forum? There's no one here. But, if there's anyone online that'd like to make a comment, check.
There, no.
Okay.
Nothing online.
Nothing online, we'll move to commission comments. Just in a follow-up, the bid on the locks, the replacement was $110, so we gave it, go ahead.
Was that the guy that,
Or the person.
Dave?
Yep.
Nice job.
Yep, so that's tied up. At least the locks will be replaced. And keys provided. Okay, anything else? If not, next week, Monday is gonna be a very full day. We start in the morning, 9 o'clock with payday. Moving to work session, doing the bond and roads, prioritizing our major hard surface roads. We need to come out of that with a plan. And then in the afternoon, we will be having the planning and zoning case 21-03 Harmony Towers. We will be having our representatives for the tax sale.
Yeah, you'll have an interview, I think at 2 and 3. I'll have to double check those.
Scheduled for the same time. Yeah, it's like Cat and John Deere. And I think there's a number of other issues, so it will be a full day.
The only other comment that I have, Dave, is I don't know that I'll be able to attend all your work sessions every Monday morning.
And I don't know that it'll be every Monday, but we'll talk more about it in the coming week. But we need to, the commission needs to come to an agreement on the ARP funds and get some more information. We need to talk about that. We need to talk about premium pay. We need to talk about benefit plans. That's coming up for renewal. We've got a number of issues. And so I would say at least 2 of the Mondays in February will have work sessions to try to get that information. And actually today, a new topic that I hadn't thought of was brought up about the transfer station, looking at our pay structure, fee structure. It sounds like there's questions. So I just didn't feel we had time to get into that today and give Josh a chance to prepare.
Just to be clear, not pay structure.
Correct.
Fee structure.
I can't remember the day, I can't remember the time, I can't remember the.
Just really,
Yes.
really clear there.
Yes, I need clarification. Do not hesitate to correct me, please. If that is it, I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Multiple, Kent, and a second by Jonah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
I'm starting to
Thank you
steal
all.
that so moved. That's not very nice. It's the best way. So moved.
That's the old English term.
Yeah, I
So moved.
used to say it
Right,
all the time.
recommend the old English term, Brent.
I used to say it all the
Trying
time.
to do it.